It all started with a simple act, hanging my laundry out to dry on the balcony of my cozy townhouse in the suburbs. Little did I know that this everyday task would soon spiral into a full-blown obsession for my eccentric 80-year-old neighbor, Mrs. Edith Wilkins. From the moment I moved in a year ago, Mrs. Wilkins had been keeping a watchful eye on my balcony. She would stand at her window, peering out with a look of pure disdain, muttering under her breath about the disgraceful way I was airing out my dirty laundry. "It's a violation of public decency," she would scream whenever I dared to venture out onto my balcony. "An eyesore that's corrupting the entire neighborhood." I tried to reason with her, explaining that there was nothing wrong with hanging my clothes to dry. After all, this was my own private property, and I wasn't breaking any laws. But Mrs. Wilkins refused to listen. Instead, she started taking matters into her own hands. I would often catch her lurking on my balcony in the dead of night, shining a flashlight on my drying laundry and snapping pictures with an old-fashioned camera. It was unnerving, to say the least, and I found myself constantly on edge, wondering what she might do next. Whenever I called the police to report her behavior, they would simply sigh and explain that there was nothing they could do. "Unless she's breaking a local ordinance, there's no law against hanging laundry on your own property," the officers would say, their expressions weary. But Mrs. Wilkins was relentless. She would storm into the police station, waving her stack of photographs and demanding that I be arrested for my filthy laundry hanging practices. The officers would try to reason with her, but she refused to back down, her shrill voice echoing through the station. One night, as I was getting ready for bed, I heard a sudden banging at my front door. Cautiously, I made my way to the peephole and peered out, only to see Mrs. Wilkins standing on my doorstep, her face contorted with rage. "Open up, you filthy heathen!" she screeched, pounding on the door. "I know what you've been doing!" Confused and alarmed, I slowly opened the door, my expression wary. "Mrs. Wilkins, what is the meaning of this? Do you have any idea what time it is?" "Don't play innocent with me," she cried, pointing an accusatory finger. "I know all about your dirty laundry scheme. You've been corrupting this neighborhood with your filth." I was utterly bewildered by her outburst, and I took a step back, holding up my hands in a placating gesture. "What are you talking about? I'm just doing my laundry, like anyone else." "Liar!" she shrieked, her voice shrill and unhinged. "I have photographic evidence of your atrocities, and now I've tampered with your front door so the police will be here any minute to arrest you." My heart sank as the realization dawned on me. Mrs. Wilkins had completely lost her mind. Before I could respond, she cackled maniacally and turned to leave, her laughter echoing through the quiet neighborhood. Panicked, I quickly slammed the door and locked it, my hands trembling. I rushed to the phone and dialed the police, my voice shaking as I explained the situation. "You have to send someone right away," I pleaded. "My neighbor has completely lost her mind, and I'm afraid she's going to do something drastic." The officer on the other end of the line sounded weary, but he assured me that a patrol car was on the way. I hung up the phone and waited, my nerves frayed, wondering what Mrs. Wilkins might do next. Sure enough, a few minutes later, the sound of sirens filled the air, and 2 police officers approached Mrs. Wilkins' apartment, their expressions weary. "Ma'am, we've received a complaint about you harassing your neighbor," one of the officers said, his voice firm. "We're going to need you to come with us." Mrs. Wilkins' face fell, and she gripped her walker tightly, her eyes darting around with a mixture of fear and defiance. "Harassing? I'm the one being harassed. That heathen next door is the one who needs to be arrested." "That's enough, Mrs. Wilkins," the other officer said, gently taking her by the arm. "You're coming with us." As the officers led Mrs. Wilkins away, her shrill protests echoing through the neighborhood, I watched from my window, a mixture of relief and sorrow washing over me. I never wanted things to escalate to this point, but it was clear that Mrs. Wilkins' obsession with my laundry had spiraled out of control. I can only hope that she'll get the help she needs, and that this nightmare will finally come to an end. Until then, I'll continue to hang my laundry on the balcony, a silent act of defiance against the chaos that has consumed my once peaceful neighborhood.